Generative AI has driven the cost of producing polished, grammatically perfect professional language to absolute zero. Anyone can generate an optimized resume in seconds. To process this infinite volume of incoming applications, applicant tracking systems, platforms like Workday, iCIMS, and Bullhorn, deploy their own enterprise AI to parse, filter, and summarize candidate data. This creates a closed, automated loop. Candidates use AI to generate application services specifically designed to appease the enterprise AI parsing engines, and the result is total signal collapse. As researcher Jeff Chamberlain outlines in What Comes After the Resume, professional documents are no longer records of truth. They are optimized linguistic signals engaged in an automated fight against parsing machines. To survive a low-trust, high-noise labor market, professionals must stop obsessing over editing their public surfaces. The objective is no longer writing the perfect resume. The objective is architecting a private, verifiable database, a worker-owned evidence layer. Professional identity must shift away from the standard chronological timeline. It requires a strictly governed relational claim map built on isolated units of proof. The traditional chronological timeline forces you to account for an entire career at once, creating instant organizational paralysis. This is the bounded unit, a specific role or discrete project. It replaces the timeline as the foundation of professional truth. Job titles obscure actual work, but a project boundary defines reality, capturing the exact scope, constraints, and recurring decisions. But you generate raw evidence every day: reports, code commits, meeting rhythms, dashboards. Left alone, these are just isolated data points. To become useful, that raw evidence must be linked directly to the bounded unit where it was produced. As Chamberlain notes, raw evidence without its operating context is entirely useless. Delivering a process document during a period of extreme manager turnover proves adaptability and operational stabilization. Delivering the exact same artifact in a stable quarter proves basic compliance. Without capturing the specific context, the evidence loses its meaning. It cannot travel accurately between different organizations. However, a bounded unit filled with evidence and context forms the bedrock of professional truth, but it remains raw data. It is still incapable of communicating value to an outside observer. Evidence without a claim sits unused in a folder. A claim without evidence collapses under scrutiny during an interview. This relational bridge is the claim map, connecting raw proof to the public statement. A claim is a targeted vector with a syntax. I can execute this capability under this condition. Every claim requires a mandatory structural component, claim confidence metadata. The proven tag requires multiple evidence vectors, contextual records, and witness verification. The worker can defend it without relying on vague language. The supported tag indicates evidence exists, but it is narrower, singular, or less recent. The emerging tag identifies a developing capability. It allows the worker to state what they are learning without claiming false mastery. Applying this metadata strictly prevents you from overstating capabilities in public arenas. Simultaneously, it prevents the self-erasure of valid, under-recognized skills that became so routine you stopped treating them as valuable. By design, the claim map converts fragile, hallucinatory professional language into a permanent, highly defensible relational database architecture. Proving high-level capability requires evidence, but that evidence often belongs to your employer. Professionals operate inside severe compliance boundaries, defined by FTC guidelines, the USPTO trade secret policy, and strict HIPAA or FERPA regulations. The governing standard for your database must be proof without exposure. You sanitize a bounded unit by extracting the operational judgment patterns while stripping out all proprietary data, client names, and internal code. Uploading proprietary employer metrics into public LLMs to generate a resume bullet creates severe data leakage and legal exposure. The NIST Artificial Intelligence Risk Management Framework explicitly outlines this generative AI ingestion risk. You cannot use public models to summarize restricted evidence. The claim map acts as a secure air gap. It filters sensitive material, so only a clean, redacted claim vector passes through to the outward-facing side. Rigorous data governance transforms the worker-owned evidence layer from a legal liability into a legally compliant vault of professional truth. The resume is not the record. The claim map is the record. Resumes, LinkedIn profiles, and proposals are merely temporary, audience-specific renderings drawn from the central database. When an opportunity arises, you query your own database for claims tagged exclusively as proven or supported. The immutable data architecture renders one version tailored for a consulting proposal, pulling vectors related to specialized analysis. The exact same data maps into a completely different layout for a targeted resume, prioritizing execution and project outcomes. It maps a third time for an internal promotion packet, synthesizing scope and stakeholder management. This operational process completely eliminates panic writing. You no longer rely on AI hallucinations to invent a professional history. You select supported claims from a governed source. This private architecture aligns with macro systemic shifts, specifically the W3C verifiable credentials data models now entering enterprise talent systems. As the market saturates with identical AI-generated text, linguistic polish will lose its utility. Evaluation will rely strictly on verifiable, badge-backed evidence. By decoupling the private evidence layer from the generated public surface, professionals ensure they retain absolute ownership of their truth in an age of automated evaluation.